It is 6:30. Shall we get started? And please excuse my voice. This is actually the best it's been the last few days. It goes between uh, Lindsay Lohan and Harvey Firestein, but pretty good at the moment. I am not hearing anyone, Carol.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Oh, there's Dan.
All
Okay.
right, I'm here.
All right. I see we have a couple guests. We've got Mr. Matt Dodson and the Environmental Justice Caucus. And there's Scotty.
Hi.
Hello. Oh, Matt. Hey,
Oh, Scotty.
how are ya?
Thanks. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm in lovely Maine.
Maine.
Yeah, it's the picture. I'm not physically
Oh.
in Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psych. Yeah. Um, well, all right. Well, good evening, everyone. I know we didn't quite have a formal agenda put together for tonight, but it's probably just good to check in, even especially since we spaced our executive committee meeting, which my fault too. I was like, is that like, the day passed and I was like, was that yesterday? So no worries, you know.
Well, Dan put an agenda together.
I did. Yeah, I did bring up some things we might want to talk about. I think I put that up on the Google group. So let me get to that.
Well, I've got it open
Yeah,
if you want me to read it.
sure.
Okay. The first item is Zoom renewal is coming up. It's going to cost about $170 to $180 to renew for another year.
Yeah, I mean that's basically been the same thing it's been every year. So I mean it's auto renewing at the beginning of December. I just figured I'd give everyone a heads up. I mean, I
Well,
don't love.
I move that we renew.
Yeah, I second.
Second,
Okay.
I was in favor.
Actually, I had an alternative, if that's all right.
Oh, well, then we're open to discussion.
All right.
Sorry.
No,
Um,
that's good that you
or we
spoke up.
can or we can move it to later. There's also the option of doing Google Suite, which would include Google Meetings, and that's what other groups use. So that's something we could look at in the future. But if we'd rather stay with Zoom, that's
Oh, no, I'm
fine by me.
frozen.
But I just wanted to put that out as an option that, especially with the website needing different hosting and things like that, that we can move on to a Google Suite, and then that would include Google Meetings.
Sorry, I froze for a little bit. You were talking about moving to Google Suite. It would include, and you started to mention what it included, then I froze.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, basically, I mean, there's Google Suite, which has a whole bunch of apps. You know, there's shared storage, there's all the Office apps, there's also Google Meet. I mean, the one downside I mean, I'm personally in favor of kicking the can down the road one more cycle on this, but I think it would cost more, but maybe be less wonky and less annoying than Zoom. That's my opinion. I don't. Carol has another opinion. But I think it would be
Know how
something
much
worth
it
looking into.
costs? Do we know how much it costs?
Let me look. Let's see. Google. All right, Google Workspace is what it is now called, I guess, formerly G Suite. Let's see. It's the standard version is $14 per user per month. You know, you probably and you'd figure each officer would have their own would be a user. So what would that be like? You know, you have 6 officers, that would be about $90 a month. I mean, that's the frustrating part. Like it'd be kind of cool if, say, DPNM had some giant site license we could all just mooch off of, but we'd have to cover this ourselves.
Yeah. And I think it comes to like 15 or $16 a month for Zoom.
Yeah, I don't, and yeah. I mean, I don't really love Zoom, so I mean, I think this would be something nice to move to. We just gotta, yeah, it'd be cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Do you know what DPNM does for this stuff?
I do not. Patty, do you know what DP&M does? Or
They use
Jane?
they use Zoom as far as I know.
Okay.
Do they have any kind of G Suite for doing, managing documents and stuff?
You know, I'm not sure. When I first became chair, they sent me the information to use their Zoom and that sort of thing for all of our meetings. But I don't know what exactly they have.
Okay. I mean, the other thing what's sort of related to is there's this Adelante Google Drive. I don't know who it belongs to. Like it was shared with me, so I put all the different treasurer documents on there, but I don't know who actually owns it. Like, so I think, like, for example, Carol does not have access to it. So, I keep receipts there. We have like the meeting minutes and the video captures from our general meetings, all that stuff. I store that there. I don't know how to get Carol access because I don't know who owns it. Like, I don't know if it's Maureen, it's Ivan Pfeiffer, or who knows, or Cheryl Harris. I it just kind of I just kind of inherited some access to it. I mean, I have some backups I've kept of it, so that should help. So like if something goes, we're not going to lose everything, but it's kind of weird that we're stuck with this um mystery account.
If anybody would know, then it would be Ivan
Okay.
because he tracked everything. I I got access or I found it one time and I can't get back to it since then. So
Oh, okay, huh. But yeah, I think having Google Suite would be nice. I think if it was possible to get some kind of lower cost deal or something, I think it'd be great. I would definitely prefer that over Zoom.
I mean, my only
And Carol,
concern
do you
would
have any
be,
thoughts? I mean, sorry, I kind of talked over you.
No, and like I said, like I don't mind, like if the consensus is that we all stick with Zoom for another year, I'm okay with that. I just wanted to put that up um as maybe something to consider in the future.
Yeah,
Okay.
my only
I
concern
don't
would
mind.
be as far as what the average person is used to using. Um, it colloquially we just Zoom. We don't even Skype anymore. We Zoom, you know. And so would there be any hangups of like, oh, you need this Google plugin, or is it included in the Chrome browser?
It's
I,
included in the Chrome browser. Um,
Okay.
it's like its
So,
own link and you don't really need a separate application like you do for Zoom.
oh,
Um,
I like that.
Cheryl Harris, that's what they use in Utah. And Cheryl said that she loves Google Meetings so much because it's so user friendly.
yeah, that's my experience too. We use it for my book club, and it's more straightforward to use. Like sometimes Zoom just feels user hostile. I think in parks they're trying to squeeze more money out of everyone, but
Why doesn't the Democratic Party have something that they just offer to all
That
members?
that's a great question,
Yeah.
especially for the caucuses. The minimum ask I've wanted is like a bulk mail account, some kind of thing where, like as a ward chair trying to reach out to precincts or as a precinct chair as well, you know, I gotta pay for the stamps myself when I send out stuff and I'm like,
Mhm.
well, couldn't there be something through the county where I like do something and it like mails it like some auto mailer thing we could come up with, and so far, no one has.
Well,
Well,
we're in
I'll
the
just
middle
say
of
like I'm open to the
discussion.
idea.
We voted once, but now that we've had some discussion, can we vote again?
Sure, and I think we're going in favor for another year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll second that. I'm in favor of
Okay.
that.
All right.
Alrighty, so all
So
those in favor?
I,
Aye.
all right. Okay.
All right, so one more year with Zoom, but we'll play with the Google Meet uh over the next
Yeah.
few meetings just to try it out. Maybe for an executive meeting, just to
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm also
give it
going
a
to
shot.
chain to this Zoom discussion, some more IT related stuff. So Jay Levine, our older Adelante website, and also those like entity email accounts, like chair at Adelante Caucus, treasurer, vice chair, all that stuff. He is shutting down that server. So we need to move on. Now the DNS entry, adelantecaucus.org, we got that transferred over so now we don't need his server to access our Google Sites site. Now the other question are the entity emails. Do we want to keep those or just have a personal email address up on the website? Because if we need to have like a chair at Adelante Caucus or whatever, we need to figure out who's going to host, what's going to host, who or what is going to host that. Otherwise, I mean, I would just use my own email address, but I don't know if there's a strong objection there or
I'm
sentiment one way or another.
I personally find it overwhelming because I'm treasurer of my neighborhood association,
Hmm.
chair for Adelante. Um, and then a long time ago, I have a ward chair account, and then I've got my work email, my personal email. You know, I'm fine with using my personal email if there was some fancy internet age way of having chair at Adelante send it to Colton Ardeen at Gmail.
Hmm.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
can look into that. I mean, I'm fine for the time being just updating the website to say, oh, this is just our personal emails, and then maybe look into it. Like, that's actually something else. If we had G Suite, that would be pretty easy to do.
okay, because yeah, I have too many emails as it is.
Well, I would prefer to keep mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, just too many.
Okay.
And I know that, oh my gosh. I know when my CD1 was set up, it was linked to my personal email account.
I think mine was two, but I don't really use I don't think I really use it much. I mean, I can try to look into it if there's some kind of easy email forwarding. Jay had mentioned like Tuco's or something might have something to set up there. But anyway, yeah, I mean, let me look into this some more and get back to you during our e-board meeting in 2 weeks.
So what's next on the agenda?
Um, well, Zoom renewal. Um, okay, so at the Caucus Fall Festival, the LGBTQ caucus suggested tabling at Pride, and I think that's a good idea. So I think we should consider doing that when that time comes up. I mean, that's several months into the future. Um, Another thing I've noticed is a lot of caucuses have basically yearly planning meetings where they try to provide some at least high level plan of what they want to do across the year. Maybe we should try something like that at our January meeting. Just throwing that out now.
Like an objectives for the
Yeah,
year kind of meeting.
yeah.
To a certain extent, I kind of feel like we've started doing that by reaching out to the caucuses and saying, hey, let's all kind of get together and see where we overlap. Um, but no, that's a good idea. Like, what are our goals for this year?
Yeah. Does EJ Caucus do this? Do that kind of stuff? I'm just since we have a member here.
Sorry, I missed a tiny bit of it. Do we do which
Yearly,
part?
like you have a special meeting where you plan out the year at at least a high level.
We don't have that like institutionalized, but we have been using the word retreat to cover that we need a retreat, that we have had retreats, and that our theme is just speaking informally,
Hmm.
um, the things that need to be done and um, already the to-dos that we are tracking is too much for our actual resources. So we've been focusing a lot on outreach, but that also requires serious prioritizing, right? So it's
Hmm.
on our radar. We don't have a formal process, but I was definitely giving you guys the thumbs up on the idea of having like a we were talking just the other day at our last executive committee meeting about inviting a multi-caucus strategy session
Hmm.
um, as soon as possible. And then I think Chase, our chair, had already talked to Sarah about getting a monthly all caucus meeting with her.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to I just think there's a lot of good that could come out of stuff like that, like the
Okay.
cross fertilization and the supporting across issues.
Well, and certainly we've discussed that as well. Like, where do the caucuses have, branch out in their fields, but where do they overlap and where can we like where does that Venn diagram meet? And one of the ideas from our discussion was probably in New Mexico. Like I think a month ago we had Norm Gaume as a guest and basically laid out the dire water situation in New Mexico.
Mhm.
Um, did
I
I
think that's
freeze
an
again?
awesome place to start, because as I was listening to the speeches at that event in Santa Fe, I did hear several caucuses mentioning water.
Yes.
It's a
And
big issue. And then as I was telling Dan the other day, an issue that has kind of perked my horns up is the BlackRock going after P&M. And I've
definitely.
been getting emails from New Energy Economy. So, I mean, there's a way of collaborating, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean the private equity takeover of our two major energy utilities is not there's both an environmental aspect of it and also kind of a populist, like working American aspect of it. Because they're probably just gonna enshittify service and raise rates. In addition to not really caring about the environment.
If you guys don't mind, I will give a very, very brief pitch that the EJC did join the Public Power New Mexico Coalition that is full speed ahead, working to block Blackstone and put forward the alternative. And it would be awesome if you guys were interested in joining that too. They're meeting like every other Thursday. Actually, they're about to switch to a Thursday evening meeting, but it's like kind of a clearinghouse for strategy, and their overarching strategy right now is to kind of build a coalition under the heading of consumer protection as well,
Right.
which I think could be unbelievably powerful, right? Like that to me is that sums it up. We got to protect our consumers. We got to protect the consumer from Blackstone and BCP and oil and gas, right?
I,
Yeah.
Yeah,
if,
totally. Yeah, there's a ton of reasons why this is not a good idea.
right.
I think the only
And
people who
it's just
really
very
benefit are
broad.
shareholders.
If
But
people,
the
if the
potential for interlocking interests.
Yes.
Sorry.
If it's okay with the board, I would be happy to be the member associated with this coalition.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that's good.
Okay,
and just a like as a practical matter of, if the caucuses can kind of agree where, going into next year, going into primary season, all the state house is up, US House is up, one US Senate seat is up. If we just all agree like, hey, this is a deal breaker, you risk losing the support of your party if you do not do this, or if you do this, it's kind of where I come from, you know, that I would suggest that as a that we should all consider. And Rachel, I see you have your hand up. Or
Just you guys
Patty. Oh,
you're aware of the report card that the Duryers are creating, right? Speaking of holding the legislators accountable and running the primaries to get leverage and serious promises from them. You guys know about it? Yeah, good.
yes, I love that idea. And um, yeah, um, yeah. Patty, you had your hand up.
Yeah, so Bernalillo County Resolution Committee has a resolution that's going to spark Tuesday. We met, Mark met 2 weeks ago, and there's just a little bit of verbiage that needs changing, but it will be a resolution I'm hoping that SCC will vote on this month so that we can push that out to our legislators too. So I have to leave at 7 o'clock. So we have another, because I have that, we have another meeting on the resolutions, but we do have one that says say no to Blackstone. And we all know they're private equity, and we know what some private equities are doing to the nation. And Dan, before I get off, I just want to say I told Scotty, but I found a bag full of Adelante caucus buttons.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Big buttons.
Oh, nice.
Pins. Okay, pins. Found a whole bag of them. So I will try to get that to one of you guys.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Okay. And I do have to leave at 7 for that resolution committee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. I guess the last thing I had thrown on the list here on that list was this is sort of like a weird, I don't know about what I would call it, but I think what we might try doing is for issues we support, actually writing up a bill of this is what we'd want the state legislature to approve. So, like, for example, we want to do single payer healthcare. We'll produce a bill. We have a bill waiting saying, this is single payer. This is what we want you to pass. Or, I don't know, say, for example, public financing for APS school board elections. I don't know if that's a state issue or a local issue, but that some issues like that. For very specific things, we have a specific bill we could throw out. We'll keep out the website showing people, hey, look, this is what we want to do. So
I love that idea.
all right, because I had Gemini write up a one for single payer, and the voice was there. I mean, we got to work on a little bit more, and just like writing wise. Do we have a template for what like the actual bills look like on nmlegis.gov?
You know, Dan, I can tell you that because I've worked at the legislature with para. You can propose what you want, but actually they have bill writers at the
Mm-hmm.
legislature that you
Right.
have to find a sponsor,
Yep, I know.
and then they usually will write it for you, as long as you know the points. I don't think I've ever seen, I know a couple of people that work in there, but I don't think there's a template, but I'll ask.
Okay, yeah, because just how it looks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, so those bill writers, I presume when let's say you find a sponsor, that sponsor brings the bullet points,
Mm-hmm.
and then because I'm aware of that they exist, but as far as like how they actually turn those bullet points into a draft, I've never talked to anyone who actually does that. Um,
Well, I have a close friend
so
who does that. So,
could
It's actually incredibly complicated because when you're writing a bill, you're not just writing the bill, but you're also writing into the bill where it removes items out of other bills that have already been passed in the same. So, I mean, it's incredibly difficult. And that's why it takes them to do it.
Right, and I agree. This is not necessarily going to be a lot of this is sort of showing people we care and are kind of serious, and this is how we view things. I mean, the expectation would be if we were actually going to push this in the legislature, we'd get some help there actually getting it in a written up in a proper way when covering all those details.
so did you want to do that, Dan, or you just want to kind of get something to pass out to the legislature, telling them what you'd like to see?
I think it would
You'd
basically
like,
be it would look like a bill and just be like, this is what we want.
this is what you'd like to
And
see.
here's some, and then they'll be pushed back, and we'll say, okay, fine, this is okay. We did miss this. Let's fix this up. That's all.
I would I would go as far as to call it a draft bill even before finding a sponsor, because then they'll be like, "What? What do you mean it's a draft bill?" Like, well, yeah, we're looking for a sponsor, and then this is our draft that we're shopping for a sponsor for to then have one that can be filed. You know, and I would, Patty, do you think like the formatting would be important in trying to present it as?
I don't. All you have to do is get a legislature, sit down with them, explain to them so they can explain it to the bill writer. And the bill writer will call you too if they have questions. And then you're right, there's a whole lot to it because they have to make sure it's not in conflict with something else or anybody involved in this gets buy-in. But that's what they get paid big bucks to do, is to write those type of bills. But yeah, you just have to explain it to the legislator, and then have your bullet points, and they send it to the bill writer, not you. They have to send it.
Certainly. But as far as when we present these ideas in as a succinct format as possible, if it
Well,
if
I,
it
I
is
tell you what, I would, if that's what you want to do, I would get started on it, because I was at IPOC yesterday and they're already introducing bills. There was 2 bills introduced yesterday, um, that they want to get passed. So yeah, if you plan on having it as a bill, I'd say find a sponsor as soon as you can. I think pre-filing bills, the first time you can pre-file a bill is January the 6th, I think, somewhere in there.
so there so then I'm just thinking out loud. We could put on the website, here are bills we want to push for in the 30-day session. Here's the idea. Something we can put on the website so that when we run into a legislator at the grocery store, be like, hey, Senator or Representative so and so,
I
we
would,
I'm with Adelante, we want to do this. Here are our bullet points are on the website. Will you please take a look and reach out and get back to me?
well, I would say your chances are next to none because everybody is going to them that they want bills sponsored. I would say if you could find a legislator or anybody that agrees and believes in what you want to push forward, then you need to sit down and meet with them and explain it to them because they have hundreds of bills that people are trying to get pushed. But this is a 30-day session, so you know it's the governor's call. But I definitely it has to be financial, I think, or the governor has to put it on the call. But I know the bill writers start, I think, December the 1st. So that's how I would do it. You got to find some senator or legislator that will that agrees and wants to push it.
Let me speak up on universal health care. One of the first places to start in New Mexico would be because if they pass it federally but give it to the states, New Mexico used to operate its own Medicaid, and they privatized it to 5, 8 different companies. I don't know. It's absolutely stupid. So I would begin with a bill to bring that all back under state control and have it ran by the state.
What do you happen to recall when that fracking of Medicaid happened?
Don't. I just learned about it around 2005 when we had foster kids, and they said, okay, they'll cover their eyeglasses. So we
But
made
that
an appointment with an optometrist, and they went, "Oh, we don't take that Medicaid." It's like, well, how many are there? And there's a bunch because they divided it up and contracted out, and that's where looking into it. They used to have the state running the Medicaid, and then I can't tell you if it's even a Democrat or a Republican, but it's clearly by corporate lobbying that they privatized.
well, I'm just thinking, is it a single bill that if a single bill were repealed, would that restore? Because if we could narrow down, like, oh, it's the such and such act of 2005, then that would be the simplest bill. Such and such act 2005 is hereby repealed. You know,
I don't think it would be as simple as that. I think if, repealing a bill of saying that they're not allowing private contractors for Medicaid, then you have to write another bill to say all Medicaid would be run through the state. I'm not an expert on bills, but it just seems to me that you, getting rid of one bill doesn't necessarily restore what was before. So that's a thought.
all right. What do and so that was that the conclusion of our
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Scotty, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I have sent you notes for me for our annual report. Dan
I
has
have
sent you a
received them.
treasurer's report. Carol has sent you a report. I sent Isaiah an email saying, yes, Adelante will be there. Yes, we'll table. Yes, Colton will be there to give the report. And then Isaiah said, well, do you want a PowerPoint? I don't think we need a PowerPoint. So I
Yeah.
can write him back and say, not necessary.
Yeah, and I have received your emails, so I'll start compiling them and putting them into a presentation.
Good.
Um,
That's what I want to say is I really want to thank Dan for setting up the No Kings protest in Valencia County. We got, I don't know how many signatures on that.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was at least it was like
10.
probably in the range of 5 to 10, and we also have another paying member now.
Yeah. So, I mean, here we're doing outreach, trying to get more people involved, and I think it's good. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad Rachel was on the Zoom tonight. I
Yep.
think collaborating with her and New Age Econ or New Energy Economy, whatever it is.
Yes, and Aline Gush, if I'm saying her last name correctly, she wished us well for this meeting. She mentioned that she had another conflict. So
Okay.
yeah, there's definitely people who care, and that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
Mm.
doing that. Matt, do you want to say anything while you're here?
Well, I'm here as a member of the caucus, but
Okay.
yes, I am running for U.S. Senate, and if you know of anyone that would like to see somebody primary Benray, please have them get a hold of me. I'm running on a zero budget, and he has 3.2 million as of a month ago. So, yes, I'm as a full supporter of very progressive issues. Uh, yeah, have anybody reach out to me that's available, please.
Okay.
So just a quick, can you kind of give us a quick spiel about what made you decide to primary Senator Lujan?
Absolutely. So I've ran for office 5 times before up in here in Farmington, a very conservative area, but I am just sick and tired of the Democratic Party not standing up uh, to what's going on. And we didn't just get here; it took years to get here. And I'm just tired of do nothing Democrats. So I should have my website up shortly, but my four main issues are universal health care, money out of politics, tax the rich, and free college education. And then I'm going quite a bit further where we have got to prosecute anyone involved in a genocide in Gaza. It's got to be a litmus test for anyone running for office that when we finally take control, even of just the House, we've got to prosecute the Trump administration for all their wrongdoings, which occur on an hourly basis. So it's time for change,
Yeah.
and I just cannot name anybody that's standing up, and I'm going to be a fighter. So that's why I jumped in. It's got to end, and we've got to initiate and turn this around, and hopefully not lose our country to fascism before then.
No, I hear you. A side note, I don't know if you're aware, but Ben Ray's towards the end of his last term in the House did sign on to Bernie's Medicare for All bill. He was one of the very last people to sign on to it, but has yet to sign on to it since becoming a senator, or any version of it. So please remind him of that,
It's worse
you know.
because when House Bill 676 was actually had good momentum, he had not signed on to it yet. So I cornered him and said, "Hey, why haven't you signed on this?" And he gave all the, you know, standard answers. Well, it doesn't include the VA and it doesn't include IHS and whatever. And all that takes is so he introduced his own bill. So out of all the thousands of bills in front of the House every year, instead of going like you would in front of a committee and saying, okay, here's what we need to do to include IHS or VA or whatever. Instead, he introduced his own bill, which had no chance of anything, and just muddied the waters. So he has not proven that he is an advocate of universal health care. But of course, uh, that shows where he's getting his money from.
Yeah, and I'm certainly I'm all for, you know, a healthy contest if, I'm not someone who says like, oh, you shouldn't primary those
Yeah,
Democrats.
thank
That's
you.
ooh, that's rude, don't you know? You know, like no, that's they need to defend that seat on their record.
No,
On
I think everyone
by
needs primary because it just makes everything stronger.
yeah. Um, and yeah, and I certainly, their silence on Gaza is the loudest thing coming out of Congress. Um, even, you know, uh, it's like even Melanie won't call it a genocide. She'll post these selfie videos of the horror that's going on needs to stop. It's like call it a genocide. Call it what it
Only for the
is. She
prosecution.
won't do it. She won't do it because they don't want to ruin their chance at being president someday, is my opinion. If they cross that line, then they'll never get to run for president. And that's what it's
APEC
all
is,
about.
yeah, APEC is pretty strong, and that's, they got rid of Cori Bush and they got rid of Jamal Brown. What's his name?
Bowman, Jamal
Bowman.
Bowman.
Um, and yeah, unfortunately, lobbyists are too frickin' powerful. There's too much money in politics. So,
Very
And
little
one idea,
respect.
we were talking about potential bills. It's just something I thought of and it just came to mind. Maybe we should push for a bill where, like on a state level, um, our senators and our representatives can only receive money from inside the state. Like, oh, you want to, because I think the state could mandate that something like, hey, well, if one of
Jane,
your
that's
donors
already a
want,
resolution that they're taking up. That's already a resolution that's
oh,
going to
cool.
Spark, that's going to be voted on at the SEC, I believe,
Well, that's I say we should
for
try to
primaries. For
no,
primaries.
oof, I say the whole thing, but maybe we can tune that up for 2027 60-day session, try to have momentum
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
More like, because it's like, okay, so they have to worry about some out of state money primary them. It's like, well, then just okay, well, then they'll have to come and set up a corporation here and establish business and become a New Mexico company, and then they can buy the election, and it'll help our economy in the meantime, just an idea. But I'm sorry, did I interrupt you, Matt? You were about to.
To Gaza, and you mentioned running for president. If they're not on the right side of history now, it's going to bite them in the ass later. So anybody that's not forward thinking enough on that, they're shooting themselves in the butt for moving up in any way, and that's the way it should be. Now on the, I support publicly funded elections, and as a matter of fact, right now, people can give $3,500 per candidate, per person, per election. One's for the primary, one's for the general, and the average person cannot afford $1,000 hit a month. 60% of the population. We need to make political donations to where the average person can give. So I would say max political donation $100, not even $3,500. That's still, it's not the average person being represented by $3,500 expenditures.
Well, and I've often wondered, like, what would be a good rubric for campaigning? Like, New Mexico has 2.1 million people, so let's say $1 per constituent. Would a Senate campaign need more than $2.1 million? Would or the governor or a statewide office or and by that measure, a state rep would be was it now
Tens of
approximately
thousands of dollars, not
35,000?
millions. That's correct.
Or no, they're at 30,000 and a senator's at about 50,000. So like, would a state senator need more than 50,000?
They
You
need
know,
like two hundred and
and
fifty
that
thousand.
in a weird way, I kind of think to myself, like, yeah, I don't see why they would need having run for state rep. I feel like I don't think I would have needed more than 30,000. My opponent somehow needed 90,000 for all the way to the general, but it's like, so why do you need that much money for, so that comes to like $3 per constituent, you know? Um, I, it would be interesting to figure out what that rubric would be. Uh, Mayor of Albuquerque shouldn't need more than 500,000, et cetera, et cetera.
Agreement. As a matter of fact, when you said 2.1 mil, it's like, oh, $1 per person. That's the first thing that came to mind. And the other thing that would really need to be included in that is equal television access provided by the companies. And because that's where a huge amount of money goes. And then the rest of it, it wouldn't take that much money.
I mean, an idea I've had for a while is that the media that takes ad revenue, I mean, really, they should provide a certain amount, and then that should be like some kind of tax deduction. Like, oh, there's 4 candidates for Senate. Okay, well, we're going to allot a certain amount of time for all 4 of them, and they don't charge them, but then we get that tax break. So they would want to like use the most valuable airtime, prime time, afternoon drive, for radio. And it's like, even if it's just a simple someone sitting at a desk and sharing their ideas, commercial that they can do with their phone now, that's their commercial, and they get equal airtime with the high production value and yada yada. Um, and that would be an ideal system. I don't know if the details of that could be hashed out on a state level, but that's been something I've dreamt of for a while.
Get it back to equality.
Um, did we have any other issues we wanted to discuss? One thing I kind of mentioned on our group text, maybe we should start considering inviting gubernatorial candidates. Um, I I wonder if the 3 Democratic candidates would be open to meeting all at once. I have this funny feeling that maybe they wouldn't, but we should certainly invite, reach out to them and say, hey, we'd like to schedule one of our general meetings for you to come, make your case. And maybe if we did that like for like February, March, April, the primaries in June, something like that, and give them the whole hour and give the membership, ask, we'll do what we usually do, but if maybe they have the whole hour and they're not having a debate, and oh, you have 2 minutes kind of a thing. I don't, just,
I think that would
you
be
know,
more appealing to them if they could just speak uh, their ideas, their vision, what they want to do, how they want to do it, without having to, you know, articulate an opposing view. I mean, they can just share what
answer
their vision is and
questions.
why they think they're the best candidate.
Yeah. So do we want to kind of put that in the back of our mind for like, so as far as I know, there's only 3 Democratic candidates for governor,
Yeah.
and there's 2 Democratic candidates for lieutenant governor. Um,
Well,
because
what's her name?
Stephanie,
No,
Maggie
Stephanie.
just threw her hat in the ring.
Yeah,
after
so that's
Stephanie
the
kind of
second.
stepped down,
Who's the other one?
Stephanie
Isn't
Garcia
Harold
Richard
Pope running?
Oh, Harold Pope. That's right.
and Harold Pope.
Mhm.
But as far as I know, it's just the 2 for lieutenant governor at the moment. Um, and then the 3. So we could
Yeah,
I think we
Harold,
should,
I was gonna
so
say
I could,
Harold Pope is running for lieutenant governor.
Yeah,
yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
Maggie Toulouse Oliver is as well.
Oh,
But
okay.
Stephanie and
And what's
Stephanie Garcia
Catherine
Richard,
Clark running for?
Secretary of State.
secretary. So there are three secretaries of state. There's Catherine Clark, there's what's her name? Angela?
Promo Doña Ana, county clerk.
Yeah, the
Blanking on
Doñana
her name as well.
County Clerk,
Is
and
that
then Sandra
Aspen?
Smith. Sandra Smith is running. So there's three there.
So what about a
Amanda
candidate
Amanda
questionnaire
Lopez
from
Askin.
Ottawa?
Say that again, Matt.
What about a candidate questionnaire from the Ottawa caucus? Because, you also have people running for land commissioner and et cetera, and we want the most progressive. So, and we can't have everybody on, but
We
get
have
their
done that in the
viewpoint.
past, and that is a good idea. Perhaps we could put a call to the membership, like, hey, we're going to put together a questionnaire for primaries for all Democratic candidates. Submit your questions, and we'll just put together like a 10 questions, um, just to see where everyone's at, and we could discuss endorsements at a later date. We have endorsed in the past, and I'm certainly not opposed to endorsing in the primary, but we don't necessarily have to decide that tonight. But that's a good idea. So let me write that down. So what I do have the contact info for the three gubernatorial candidates. I can reach out to them and say, hey, we're thinking either February, March, or April, where you can have the whole hour or hour and a half. We'll have questions from the membership. Um, first come, first serve, whichever one you want.
Well, the one thing that came to mind is, since we're talking about governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, and the primary is in June, we almost have to double up or triple up. I'm wondering,
I mean, I would say we could probably double up the lieutenant governors because there's only two. That would be pretty easy. Um, and the Secretary of State, there's three. Could
Yeah.
be. I don't know. I just hesitate about trying to triple up the in an
well,
ideal
what do
world,
you think of the idea of doing one candidate for lieutenant governor, one candidate for governor, and one candidate for secretary of state in one meeting, let's say in February, and then do another candidate for governor, lieutenant governor, and secretary of state, so they could just give their positions without feeling like they have to compete with the other candidate that they're running against.
Oh, I
And then
see.
the
I
third
see.
could be, the governor and the secretary of state, since we only have, that's an idea.
And I think the important thing to emphasize would be, the time slots are first come, first serve. So even if, let's say, Deb Holland doesn't want, Maggie as lieutenant governor, that's not the point. The point is you both signed up for the same day, and this is no way supposed to
Yeah, yeah.
imply, that you're, you know, on the same page for whatever, it's just,
Right.
this is the
Oh,
date,
absolutely.
and what we could make a statement saying like, hey, this is just the dates they signed up for. No way implying that they endorse each other, something like that. So,
But I just think it might be less contentious because they're not running for the same position.
that's a very good point.
Were you going to say something, Cricket?
Yes, we might want to start working on our questionnaire now in December so we can have it ready by January, sending it out to the membership for their questions or positions.
So do we want to decide that tonight, like putting out a call to the membership for questions for all primary candidates or offices, governor,
Well, I
lieutenant
won't say,
governor?
yeah, the three executive offices of the state.
Yeah,
But don't we want to know the positions of the land commissioner and, oops,
yeah,
I'm
you're
running
right.
out of
The land
power.
commissioner as well.
There's
That's
two
another,
people for land commissioner. It's Matthew McQueen and Juan Sanchez.
Right.
Okay.
governor.
Do you think of anything else, Cricket?
No, that's all I had.
That's right, land commissioner. We could discuss this. An executive meeting on the 19th.
Well, if we don't want to decide tonight, we could just decide then.
And then try to figure out how to mix that up.
Is there anything else that we wanted to discuss? Just because I feel like my voice is starting to go again, so.
Okay. Do you have a cold?
Oh, yeah. Haven't you been able? My singing voice isn't there right now. This is actually the best it's been. No one got my Harvey Firestein reference. That's okay. He's a Broadway actor. Uh, I think he was in you would know him because he has a very gravelly voice. Anyway.
Well, Mr. Chair, if there's no other business, I move that we adjourn.
I would second that.
We don't need to vote on it because that's
Alrighty.
not. So I hope you feel better.
Thank you. I feel fine. It's just my voice has been coming and going. So,
Okay.
alrighty.
right.
Well, have a good night, everyone.
All right, good
See
night.
y'all in
Good
two
night.
weeks.